In this video, I will show you how to record the MIDI generated by the Native Instruments Complete Control Arpeggiator, or chord function, into the piano roll of FL Studio. By that, I mean the actual notes generated by the Complete Control, not just the single note input. If you are having problems with the transport controls not working properly, or you can't get any output, then check out my other video on how to properly set up the Complete Control and get it working in FL Studio. The link is in the description below. In this video, we'll be focusing on the chord and arpeggio function, and how you can record the actual MIDI that's generated into the piano roll in FL Studio. I have the Complete Control S61. It's a great MIDI keyboard. It's definitely one of the best keyboards I've used so far. The keys have a nice resistance, and it doesn't have that cheap plastic feel that some cheaper keyboards do. It also has some very nice functions, including an arpeggiator and a chord function. As you have probably already figured out by now, there's no way to record the MIDI it generates inside FL Studio. This is not Native Instruments' fault. It's actually a limitation of FL Studio itself. The problem is that FL Studio does not allow you to record MIDI generated by one VST into another. It will just clone whatever is in the piano roll. In order to capture the actual MIDI being generated, we therefore need to set up a workaround. To do this, we'll be using a third-party software called Loop MIDI. I have included the download link in the description below, so you can go ahead and download it. This is a 100% free software, so you don't have to worry. After you have downloaded and installed it, it should look like this. Now click on the plus icon to add a port. Just leave it open for now and go back to FL Studio. Next, load the Complete Control VST and then load a synth inside it. Click here to select a scale and a chord function, and then enable it. You'll see the light guide change to the key we selected. Now that the chord function is activated, when I press a single key on the keyboard, the Complete Control will generate a chord based on that key. Quite fancy! Let's make a new pattern. I'm going to record something into this pattern. As you can see, it recorded the single notes that I pressed and not the actual chord we heard. This is normal. To get the actual MIDI data from the chord into the piano roll, we'll have to go to the wrapper settings for the Complete Control and select an output port. I'll just set it to number 1. Next, load another VST. Then go to the wrapper settings again, but this time set the input port to number 1. Now the Complete Control VST is sending out MIDI into another VST. The problem is, as I said, that FL Studio will only see whatever is in the piano roll and not what's actually being generated by the VST. This is where our workaround comes in. Make sure the Loop MIDI application is still running in the background. Then go to Options, MIDI, and enable the Loop MIDI as a device. Set its port number to number 1 as well. Loop MIDI will pick up the actual MIDI generated by the Complete Control and feed it back into FL Studio. Because we added Loop MIDI as a device, we can now record the MIDI coming from it. Make sure the second VST is selected and then press record. As you can see, it now recorded the actual MIDI data generated by the Complete Control. Make sure to disable Loop MIDI as a device once you're done. If you press play without removing it first, you'll have a feedback loop going on forever, and you don't want to see your computer freeze up and crash. I'll close down the Loop MIDI application as well. There's no point in having it take up resources when it's not needed anymore. The same procedure can be used to record the arpeggio function as well. I know this may seem a bit cumbersome. Unfortunately, it's the only way to get it done in FL Studio, at least for the time being. In other DAWs, on the other hand, this is quite easy to do. So if you have another DAW, such as Ableton like I do, it may be easier to just make your patterns there and then export the MIDI file and drag it back into FL Studio. In Ableton, you can easily record the Komplete Kontrol's actual output to another track by simply selecting it in the menu, click Arm, and then press Record. Quite easy. I realize that not everyone is going to have access to several DAWs, so you may be stuck with this workaround for now. But at least now you have a way to get it done, and something is better than nothing, right? By now you're probably thinking that it would be great if it was just as easy to do this in FL Studio as it was in Ableton, right? Well, why don't you just let the developers know then? You see, ImageLine is a very reasonable company. They're well known for their willingness to listen to their customers. If this is a feature that is requested by a lot of users, then they will most definitely listen. They have a forum called Loop Talk, where you can chat with other FL Studio users, share your work, get feedback, or get help with just about any music-related or technical issue. They also have a to-do section specifically dedicated to feature requests from customers. If you ever want to ask ImageLine for a specific feature, that would be the place to do it. I've added a link to the forum in the description below so you can go there and check it out. It's really a great community. If you're an FL Studio user, you should definitely check it out. Is there any specific tutorial you'd like me to make? Or perhaps have a question? Just let me know in the comments below. I'll upload new tutorials and templates every week, so make sure to subscribe to this channel so that you won't miss out. Also, if you haven't done so already, feel free to check out my music production tutorials for FL Studio. Thanks for watching.